I recently read an article in Bloomberg stating that Telegram mini apps on Ton is probably one of the strongest narratives of this bull market.
GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show that's as comforting as a slice of grandma's homemade pie, but with fewer calories and more investment advice. I'm Jay Hamilton, and today we're joined by Alina Schmelko, ecosystem lead at Ton Foundation. Yes, that's right, Ton, the open network, the L1 that's partnered with Telegram, which is the fourth largest messenger app in the world. The L1 that's been all over your timelines, but everyone is asking about Ton, and we needed to get you the download that you need to get the inside edge to understand what is happening here. So today we're talking about what is the rocket fuel that is driving Ton's growth from 10,000 daily active users in January to 350,000 daily active users today. We're going to discuss details of the relationship between Ton and Telegram, which gives Ton access to Telegram's 900 million monthly active users. And we're going to talk about why we believe that Ton is just getting started. Before we jump in, I have an exciting announcement. Next Wednesday, June 26th, is our monthly Milk Road Pro AMA, where you can ask any question to our Milk Road research team. Investing, should you buy Ton? Should you sell Solana? These are the type of questions that we'll be discussing. And if you're a pro member, keep an eye on our Discord for more details and to submit your questions in advance. Now, if you're not a pro member, you might want to go pro so you can get access to this AMA that will give you the inside edge in your investments. Hit the link in the show notes now to go pro today. That's next Wednesday, June 26th at 12 p.m. Eastern in our Discord. See you there. If you can't make it live, a recording will be shared with pro members afterwards. Now it's time to learn all about the hottest L1 in the world, Ton. Alina, welcome to the show.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you very much for having me. I mean, it's really a pleasure and I'm a big fan, actually.
Awesome. We love to hear that. So happy that you're a big fan. Okay, I got to start off with a couple of tweets just to set the stage here for anybody that's been living under a rock and hasn't heard of Telegram. Here's a couple of tweets from just the general public. Someone said that the volume on Ton tonight is illegal. This is just yesterday. You haven't seen volume yet. We just getting started. Bullish on Ton. On the news of Ton flipping XRP and making a new all-time high, here's what's next. And we are about to make so much money on Ton. And that's just a short list. There's so many other tweets I could show. Why is everybody talking about Ton right now, Alina? What is going on?
I would say it all started in September of last year when there was this official announcement of the strategic partnership between Ton Foundation and Telegram, right? So we officially became partners. So Ton became Telegram's official counterpart partner for the Web3 part, right? For blockchain and all the initiatives that relate to that field. And then it was like a roller coaster, ups and downs. But then, like a lot of interesting initiatives, and then definitely the appearance of native USDT, a few other announcements from Telegram itself that like creators and community owners can now get a part of the revenue that is generated through Telegram ads, right? And then more and more stuff announced by Telegram. And then the Open League, which is an absolutely fascinating initiative through which we support builders and founders and users of the Ton ecosystem. And then Notcoin, of course. I really hope that your listeners have heard about this phenomenon. And then, this tap to earn trend, of course, which we absolutely cannot turn a blind eye to. And I recently read an article in Bloomberg stating that Telegram mini apps on Ton is probably one of the strongest narratives of this bull market, right? So it's not my quote, that's theirs, and I completely agree here. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's definitely a combo of factors about which we're absolutely excited.
An incredible list of things that are driving your growth and also providing use cases for Ton Coin. I want to dive a little bit deeper into some of those. So you mentioned mini apps and tap to earn games, and that's and Notcoin being one of those games. Is that what's driving most of this growth?
I think we should, yeah, really break it down. You're absolutely right that this is one of the indeed substantial factors of growth in terms of the users, probably, right? Regarding the TVL, I would say this is definitely, well, the Open League, the program that I mentioned. I will elaborate on it probably further on. And then the coming of native USDT on Ton, because we also launched a very cool incentive program for that on DEXs, where you could get like a really high APY. And then Wallet and Telegram also had their own incentive campaign. So definitely, this is something that has driven the growth of TVL. So we're now up by more than 2,000%, which is absolutely incredible if we count in dollars. Yeah, talking about users. So you already mentioned that like Telegram has 900 million monthly active users, right? So this is exactly the opportunity that we see there, and we want to onboard those people, right? And we are making every effort to actually do it. I mean, not only us, we're just creating this favorable environment, all the tools and instruments and programs from the side of Tom Foundation, I mean, but then they have this large list of amazing teams and talented builders who are actually delivering good products with their own hands. Um, so yeah, Telegram mini apps is definitely the window to mass adoption in combination with Wallet and Telegram, of course, because this is something that allows us to give users an opportunity to use crypto inside the messenger and inside those multiple use cases that are popping up in the form of Telegram mini apps. And when we talk about Telegram mini apps, we mean so many different things like games, like DeFi products, like utility apps, social fi, just come up with any product vertical, and you will find it inside Telegram already with Ton as the Web3 infrastructure, let's say.
Can you explain the relationship for us between Telegram and Ton and how that is defined?
Sure. So, as already mentioned, the term here is official strategic partnership. So, we are completely independent, separate entities. So, Telegram is the messenger. We are, as Tom Foundation, we are a nonprofit organization that is responsible for creating this environment so that builders can come and develop some cool stuff in the Web3 space using our infrastructure. And so, yeah, once again, the relationship here is that like all the Web3 initiatives of Telegram are like necessarily with the use of Ton, let's say. That was the official term that was basically coined in September of last year at Token 2049 in Singapore, and that was the official announcement from the main stage. And we definitely, continue to collaborate in this regard, and there are more and more use cases for Ton. Once again, I already mentioned the revenue share with creators, with community owners. Then, from the main stage of the next token in Dubai in April, just a couple of months ago, Pavel announced the potential tokenization of stickers inside Telegram, right? So, there is a lot still to come, and we're very excited about this. Indeed, strategic partnership, probably one of the core partnerships for us as an L1.
Does Ton have any activities outside of Telegram?
Absolutely, yes. So, look, we started as any other ecosystem with classic web apps, right? So, builders were coming and launching classic web versions of their products, right? So take our largest DEXs, Stonefy and DDust. They still have web apps, and this is basically for them. This is probably an exceptional case because definitely games and utility apps, they are focusing on Telegram now. But for DeFi, it's still probably more leaning towards the web versions just because it's more native for DeFi users, right? To use, for example, the browser extension of the wallet and, just to have even like as simple as that, a bigger picture of the screen in front of their eyes, even though we do see like rising interest towards the Telegram mini app versions. So yeah, they all started with web apps and then shifting very progressively and slowly towards Telegram mini apps. Take our lending protocol Eva. They also launched their Telegram mini app just half a year ago, which is actually, yeah, very cool and attracting a lot of attention. But talking about DeFi, our perp DEX, for example, Storm Trade, they started with the Telegram mini app from day one. So they positioned themselves as like Telegram native. perp dex, the first one in the world, let's say. So yeah, it depends, and this is to say that there are definitely web versions as well, but the largest stake is obviously on Telegram because I mean, why not leverage this potential if we have this opportunity?
If we step back and we look at incentive programs in Web3 and on chain, uh, they have they're an incredible new tool for capital formation for your developers, for builders. We've seen, every L1 and L2 has their version of, whether it's a reports program or whether it's an airdrop, whether it's a grants program or it's a retroactive fund. We've seen these all. And what we've seen over and over again is there's sort of two ways this ends. There's the incentive programs that end and then everybody leaves because the users are like, there's no reason for me to be here anymore. And there's the incentive programs that are able to achieve a bit more stickiness with their users and with their developers. I don't think you worry so much about stickiness because there's so much effort that goes into building and it's be a larger lift to leave. But the users are where this issue can rise. And we've seen, to use Solana is an example of an ecosystem that really did have a lot of success. If we look at the end of last year around using airdrop programs of various tools and projects that were building within their ecosystem, but Solana was able to be sticky and it's kept those users around. Blur, Blast, another good example of that. How does Ton think about that? Like, how do you make sure that this growth is sustainable and that when, or maybe does the incentive program never end, or when it does end, that you're not going to lose all these users? What's the mindset there?
This is a very good and a very relevant question that we luckily started, questioning ourselves with from the very beginning, which I think is absolutely the right approach here, right? So we understood from scratch that, like, definitely this incentive program is going to be over at some time. I hope not. I mean, I'm sure not soon, just because we already allocated a lot of funds, and we are definitely committed to continuing it in the at least medium term. But what we started thinking is that yes, okay, farming rewards will stop, and then prizes to teams will also stop to be distributed. What will we do? Our aim here is to create really like an ecosystem of sustainable products, right? So we're definitely not going to provide rewards forever. We want teams to build something sustainable in the long term, to focus on the product first, right? And we luckily, especially in the Ton Foundation, we have people with very good product expertise, which I think is a very strong argument here. Because, when I personally was actually, I mean, choosing which ecosystem to work in, to lean towards, this is something that really, attracted my attention. There was like a cherry on top because I saw that those people know how to build products, first of all, right? Not only distribute things or like grow TVL in monthly, which is definitely important for any Web3 ecosystem. But we started with this idea in mind that we need to build something with good UX, UI, and something that really gives value to the user. Um, so I would say that the main idea here is not only to focus on like those vanity metrics. Definitely, people love large numbers, and it's very cool to talk about those. 700 million TVL right now, or daily active users. Like we surpassed Ethereum for the number of daily active users, right? In June, like every day except for one day. That's cool, and this is definitely something that attracts attention. But what about long term? And long term is about products, and about the utility of tokens of each of those products. Because definitely it's hard to imagine a purely Web3 product without a token. So what we're doing here is we are kind of incentivizing, or rather pushing teams to create new token utility and to distribute their token to the maximum possible extent. How are we doing it? This is actually a necessary requirement to join the Open League, to join the token battle, like to get the LP boost for their token. They must have a mining mechanism of their token. We believe this is important, and teams are definitely constrained to follow our guidelines here. So, any product that, any token that you can now see with the label boosted in the token battle leaderboard, you will understand that they do have a mining mechanism, whether it's through farming on a DEX, through a simple clicker, through different like quest tasks and other ways. So I completely agree with you. Your question absolutely makes sense, and we do have an approach which definitely is based on the hard work of teams as well, not only us from the side of Tom Foundation, but I think we're definitely on the same page here, and our teams within the ecosystem also have a very clear understanding of that.
If we look at ton users, do you have any idea of how many are new to on chain versus there's always this conversation in crypto of when are the new users really coming? And it feels like, we've had a great bull run the past 6 months, but it feels pretty clear that we're not bringing a lot of new users yet. We haven't reached that stage of the bull run. That's the next stage. Who knows when it happens? Q3, Q4, Q1 2025. I'm not exactly sure. Nobody's exactly sure. Nobody has a crystal ball here. But I'm curious in Telegram because of the access to Telegram, sorry, with Ton, because of the access to Telegram, that I'm wondering if you are attracting new users and whereas the rest of the ecosystem isn't really doing that a ton right now. Do you have stats on that?
I actually think we are attracting new users, of course. I will bring up some numbers now. So, look, Ton Foundation has actually announced a very interesting goal of onboarding like a third of Telegram users on chain by 2028, right? So, I mean, we would definitely expect the Telegram user base in monthly terms to grow as well. So, we estimated roughly as 500 million people to be on chain. We will count on chain and off chain in terms of having different assets on centralized exchange balances as well. So I mean the rough target here is 500 million people with Ton within Ton ecosystem by 2028. So I want to bring up one very relevant example, I believe, which is Notcoin, right? So Notcoin was essentially an off-chain game, a Web2 game initially, right? Whether we can call it a game, it depends on the definition. That was the first tap to earn case, let's say, a very simple onboarding tool, right? I actually, when I first had a conversation with Sasha, who is the founder of Notcoin, I didn't believe at all that this thing would work out. I was like wondering, what are you talking about? What do you mean you just have one single screen with a coin and you just tap? Like, we're talking about DeFi here. We're talking about NFTs and all these advanced trends. Like, what coin are you talking about? But then it definitely, I mean, that was an upside down. Um, so from January on, we were literally, amazed at that fast growth of numbers inside the app. Definitely, it was not only about tapping on the coin, it was all about squads and different communities getting involved, right? Competing between each other, which is definitely one of the crucial elements of a successful Telegram mini app on Ton, right? And then there were all these simple tasks that helped people to onboard into Web3, into the Ton ecosystem, because those tasks essentially were like go to Get Gems, which is one of the largest NFT marketplaces on Ton, and buy an NFT, or go to DDust, which is one of the dexes, and make a swap, right? So that was basically education with very interesting narrative, very hooking narrative, probably nothing, right? Um, and yeah, I mean, it did work out. 35 million people were tapping on the coin at the end of the day, right? So that this is official stats from the Notcoin team.
And that's crazy. 35 million. I just want to stop on that. Like that is truly incredible for any game, tap to earn, play to earn, whatever the game is, for a game to have 35 million active users within a few months, right? Like this happened very quickly.
It actually happened from January to March. Yeah, but I want to highlight one thing. People will say, but these are off-chain users, right? They did not need to transact on chain. This is true. I mean, some tasks did involve, this action like make a swap or buy an NFT. But so the official stats continues, and 11 million people claimed Notcoin on the day of listing or after the day of listing, right? 11 million. And now, Notcoin is the largest community token out there in the Web3 space, with more than 2.3 million on-chain token holders. So I think that the numbers tell for themselves, right? Yeah, we like Notcoin has surpassed any other meme coin that was deemed the largest one by the number of token holders. So this is how we want to onboard people. We definitely start with off-chain and take Hamster Combat that you mentioned, right? 150 million people, they definitely broke the record of Notcoin, are playing Hamster Combat by today. We will see how many of them will be onboarded into Web3 actually and start using their, well, at least custodial wallets or like self custody wallets as next step. But we're quite close, right? 150 mil and 900 mil, at least a ninth of it, but still off chain, but there is a perspective.
Before we wrap up, what's the end game here? There's so much relying on this partnership with Telegram. Is there any risk that that partnership would ever go away?
There is always a risk, of course, like no one ever gives guarantees. And I think this is the beauty of life. Per se, right? I mean that I mean challenges will be there always, and we will see what to do with it, right? Definitely now the major focus is on Telegram mini apps because I mean why not? Like we cannot really lose this opportunity, right? But as I already mentioned, a lot of successful products on Ton they have the web apps. Not just in case, for most of them, this is still the main platform to attract the user to. Just because, I mean, DeFi is a very specific case, and I believe we're still not there where we can, completely dedicate the product to a Telegram mini app and attract the users only there because it's still a bit complicated for a Web2 user or a Web 2.5 user and still not probably not so secure from the perspective of a degen, right? It is secure, but they just don't understand it, okay? And they need to dive deeper. But it is definitely secure. So I would say that anything can happen, and we will just, I mean, get ready. Now we are, I think, on the absolutely right path, and we're just proceeding with our strategy of onboarding 500 million people. There's still a lot to do, so we still have a lot of things to think about. Um, so yeah, I would say that's the plan.
Alina, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being so open to all my hard questions and answering them so well.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Milk Road Radio, the easiest path to get smarter about crypto. If you like this episode, share it and hit subscribe or follow so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, then we'll leave a link to Milk Road Pro as well, your #1 resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note, this podcast is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Crypto is risky, so you should never invest more than you're willing to lose. Thank you, friends, and we'll see you in the next one.